On a December morning in 1917, a man sat alone in a small wooden office with his hand on a telegraph key, watching a burning ship drift toward him. He knew exactly what was inside that ship. He knew that when it exploded, it would erase everything around it, including the office he was sitting in. He had time to run. He started to run, and then he turned around, walked back to his desk, and began to type. This is the story of the biggest man-made explosion before the atomic bomb. And it is not really a story about a ship or a war or even a city. It is the story of one man, one message, and 90 seconds he chose to spend saving strangers instead of saving himself. 8 a.m., Halifax, Canada, is a city at war. Its harbor is one of the busiest in the world, the gateway where ships gather before crossing the Atlantic to the battlefields of Europe. Every day, hundreds of vessels pass through this narrow stretch of water. Troop ships, hospital ships, cargo freighters, all funneling through a channel barely wide enough for two of them to pass. This morning, a French freighter called the Mont Blanc is moving slowly into the narrowest part of that channel. From the shore, she looks completely ordinary. No warning flags, no signals. In wartime, you don't advertise what you're carrying, and what she is carrying is close to 3,000 tons of high explosives. TNT, picric acid, gun cotton, and stacked on her open deck in plain wooden barrels, benzol aviation fuel, a fuel so unstable that a single spark can set it alight. She is not a ship. She is a floating bomb the size of a city block, sailing quietly past a city that has no idea she exists. 8:30 a.m. A few hundred meters from the water's edge stands the Richmond Railway Yard, and inside it, a small wooden telegraph office. At the desk sits Vince Coleman, 45 years old, a wife and children at home, a few streets away, still asleep. His job is simple and invisible. He controls the trains. Every locomotive coming into Halifax moves only when men like Coleman tap out permission on the wire. It is not a job anyone notices, until the day it is the only thing standing between a train full of people and a disaster no one can see coming. This morning, somewhere down the line, a passenger train is heading toward the city. Hundreds of people on board, soldiers heading home on leave, families, children. Its route will bring it along the water, right past the harbor, right past the Mont Blanc. 8:45 a.m. In the Narrows, the Mont Blanc meets a Norwegian ship called the Emo, coming the other way. What happens next is a slow-motion misunderstanding. Wrong channel, wrong signals. Two captains, each certain the other will turn. Whistle blasts go back and forth between the ships, each one a warning, each one misread. At the last moment, both ships cut their engines. The collision, when it comes, is almost gentle, but gentle is enough. Sparks from grinding steel fall into the fuel spilled across the Mont Blanc's deck, and the barrels catch fire. Her crew knows precisely what sits beneath that fire. They do not fight it. They do not sound an alarm. They row for the far shore as fast as their arms will move, screaming warnings in French that almost no one on the docks can understand. And the burning ship, abandoned and unmanned, begins to drift slowly toward the piers of Halifax. 8:50 a.m. Here is the cruelest part of this story. The fire is beautiful. Oily black smoke climbs into the winter sky. Boiling orange flames. Small explosions of color as the fuel barrels burst, one by one, like fireworks nobody asked for. So the people of Halifax do exactly what people always do when something looks like a spectacle instead of a threat. They stop to watch. Dock workers set down their tools and crowd the pier. School children on their way to class press their faces against the fences, pointing at the flames. Office workers lean out of windows for a better look. Families gather at their kitchen tables, drawn to the glass, coffee going cold in their hands. Thousands of faces, all turned toward the water, all standing behind glass. Glass that, in a few minutes, will become a weapon. Nobody watching knows there is anything inside that ship except fire. Almost nobody. 9 a.m. The door of the telegraph office bursts open. A sailor, sent running up from the docks, out of breath, his voice cracking, shouts the truth in a single sentence. The burning ship is a munitions ship. She is loaded with explosives. She is going to go Run. Coleman and his chief clerk do run. They make it out the door, out into the yard, toward the street. And then, in the street, Vince Coleman stops because he remembers the train, the passenger train, hundreds of people aboard, rolling toward the harbor at this exact moment. And the only thing on earth that can stop it is the telegraph key sitting on his desk in a building that is about to be at the center of the largest explosion the world has ever seen. He turns around. He walks back into the office. And with a live bomb drifting toward the pier outside his window, he sits down and starts to type. 9:03 a.m. The message he taps out goes down the line to stop the trains. It says, in the plain words of a working man, hold up the train. Ammunition ship on fire in the harbor heading for Pier 6. And it is going to explode. Down the line in stations along the route, operators receive the words and understand instantly what they mean. Every one of them is a decision to trust a stranger's warning over their own schedule. And then Coleman adds one last line. Not part of the warning, just for whoever might be listening. Guess this will be my last message. Goodbye, boys. At 4 minutes and 35 seconds past 9, the Mont Blanc ceases to exist. The explosion is the largest ever created by human beings up to that moment in history. It will not be surpassed until the atomic bomb, almost 3 decades later. The ship is vaporized. Part of her anchor, weighing half a ton, lands more than 3 kilometers away. A cannon from her deck is found kilometers in the other direction. A shockwave levels everything within a 2.5 kilometer radius. Entire streets of wooden houses are flattened in a single second, as if a giant hand had simply swept them off the map. The blast tears the water of the harbor apart, exposing the seabed for an instant. Then the sea rushes back as a tsunami that sweeps people and pieces of the piers off the shore entirely, and all those thousands of faces watching from behind their windows. The glass comes in at them like a wave of blades. It is the single greatest cause of injury in the entire disaster. People who came to watch a fire, blinded and cut by their own windows. Around 2,000 people are killed. 9,000 are injured. Hundreds are blinded by flying glass. So many, in fact, that the disaster leads directly to new advances in the treatment of eye injuries. Vince Coleman is killed at his desk, the telegraph key still in front of him. What is left of Richmond is barely recognizable. Survivors dig through splintered wood and brick with their bare hands, calling out names into the smoke. Rescue workers carry the injured toward hospitals that are themselves half destroyed. And then, that same night, as if the day had not already taken enough, a blizzard rolls in and buries the ruined city under a foot of snow. Families searching for loved ones now search in a whiteout. Rescue crews work by lantern light, snow filling in the wreckage as fast as they can clear it. But word had already gone out. Coleman's message got out, and it did more than stop one train. Down the line, the trains stopped. The incoming passenger train halted well short of the blast zone, and everyone aboard it lived. And because Coleman's telegram was the first word the outside world received, it carried further than he ever could have known. Within hours, relief trains loaded with doctors, nurses, and medical supplies were already rolling toward Halifax, some of them departing before the smoke over the city had even cleared. The city of Boston, hundreds of kilometers away, heard the news and responded almost immediately, sending a train of surgeons, nurses, and supplies that arrived in the middle of the blizzard, guided partly by the urgency of that one telegraph line. The help that arrived early through the storm saved lives that the snow would otherwise have taken. To this day, every December, the province of Nova Scotia sends a large Christmas tree to the city of Boston. 100 years of saying thank you for help that started arriving because one man refused to stop typing. One man, one desk, 1 minute of typing traded for his own life. Most heroes are given medals. Vince Coleman was given something rarer. He was given the chance to leave, and history remembers him because he didn't take it.